The old wooden floor creaked just after midnight, and Nathan froze with his hand still on the doorknob. He had worked a double shift, picked up his 7-year-old son Caleb from a neighbor's house, and expected nothing more than another lonely night in their tiny home in rural Tennessee, United States. Instead, there was someone asleep in his bed. His heart pounded as 1,000 frightening thoughts raced through his mind. But when the moonlight slipped through the curtains, he recognized the woman resting there. It was his boss, Victoria Hayes, the powerful owner of the construction company where he worked. The confident executive who never showed weakness now looked exhausted, with silent tears still dried across her face. Nathan had no idea how she had found his address or why she was there, but he knew this night would change both of their lives forever. Before we continue, if you believe kindness and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that remind us humanity still exists. Nathan had been raising Caleb alone since losing his wife to a sudden illness 3 years earlier. Every morning before sunrise, he packed lunches, braided together the broken pieces of his own heart, and drove to work determined to provide a better future for his son. His co-workers admired his work ethic, but few understood the sacrifices hidden behind his quiet smile. Victoria Hayes was known throughout the company as demanding, disciplined, and emotionally distant. Employees respected her success but feared disappointing her. Nathan had never imagined that someone with her wealth and influence could carry invisible burdens heavier than his own. Instead of waking her immediately, Nathan gently carried Caleb to the small couch and covered him with a blanket. He quietly prepared a cup of tea and sat in the kitchen, waiting until the first rays of morning reached the windows. When Victoria finally awoke, she looked around in confusion before realizing where she was. Embarrassment filled her face as she apologized for entering his home without permission. She explained that after an overwhelming board meeting, learning that her late father's company was being taken away by investors she once trusted, she had driven aimlessly through town. Without thinking clearly, she remembered the address from an employee emergency contact list after recalling how Nathan had once comforted another worker during a family crisis. Somehow, in her desperation, she believed his home would feel safe. Nathan listened without judgment. He offered breakfast instead of questions. Caleb soon wandered into the kitchen, smiling warmly at the unexpected guest without knowing who she was. The little boy simply offered Victoria his favorite pancake shaped like a heart. That tiny act of innocence broke down walls years of success could never protect. For the first time in decades, Victoria cried openly. She admitted that despite owning expensive houses, she had never truly felt at home anywhere. The following weeks changed everything. Nathan expected rumors at work or even termination for what had happened, but instead Victoria quietly began treating every employee with greater compassion. She created family support programs, flexible schedules for single parents, and scholarships for workers' children. She visited job sites more often, learning the names of employees instead of simply reviewing numbers on reports. Nathan remained humble, refusing promotions that would separate him from the crews he respected, but Victoria insisted he lead a new mentorship program because kindness, she believed, was the strongest form of leadership. Not everyone welcomed these changes. Several executives argued that compassion weakened business decisions and tried to force Victoria out as chief executive. Nathan blamed himself, believing his influence had created the conflict. Yet Victoria refused to surrender. She presented remarkable improvements in employee loyalty, productivity, and customer satisfaction. The company not only survived but grew stronger because people finally felt valued instead of used. Investors who once doubted her leadership were forced to recognize that genuine humanity could also build extraordinary success. Outside the office, an unexpected friendship blossomed. Victoria became a trusted presence in Caleb's life, attending his school play and cheering at his baseball games. Nathan slowly realized that healing does not always arrive through dramatic miracles. Sometimes it enters quietly, carrying breakfast to the table, listening without judgment, or simply asking for a place where the heart can finally rest. Both of them had believed they were rescuing the other, yet each discovered they had been saving themselves from loneliness all along. If this story has touched your heart so far, please take a moment to like this video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe for more inspiring stories that celebrate hope, compassion, and second chances. Special request: before the story ends, tell us in the comments, have you ever given someone a second chance that changed both of your lives? Months later, Nathan stood outside his small home watching Caleb laugh while throwing a baseball with Victoria in the front yard. The house was still modest, the bills still arrived every month, and life was far from perfect. But something priceless had replaced the silence that once filled every room. Nathan finally understood that real wealth is measured by the people who choose to stay when life becomes difficult. The woman he had once feared as his powerful boss had arrived at his door carrying invisible pain, searching for peace instead of success. The simple question she had asked after waking that unforgettable morning had become the beginning of a completely new chapter. Sometimes the greatest miracles are not found in extraordinary places. They begin in ordinary homes where compassion opens the door, forgiveness prepares a seat at the table, and hope quietly whispers that no one has to face tomorrow alone.